Hello and welcome to episode 20 of Novel Knits. My name is Danelle and this is my YouTube channel where I talk about what I'm knitting and what I'm reading. Thank you so much for joining me today. If it's your first time, hi, welcome. I'm glad you're here. I hope you'll come back. And if you're returning, thanks so much for coming back and interacting either through the channel or on Instagram or Ravelry. I've really been enjoying it. So thanks so much for being here. I love talking about knitting, and it's nice to meet some other people that also like talking about knitting. I'm coming as always to you from my basement in southeastern Wisconsin, where I live with my family, my dog, and a fish. Someday I'll stop saying it, but for now I'll continue to say it. Yeah, if you want to find me anywhere else, I'm on Instagram and Ravelry as Novel Knit Girl, and I will have information below this video regarding the year-long make-alongs, where you can find me, any projects and yarn and books that I talk about. Anything else that seems relevant, I'll put it below. And if I miss anything, just ask a question. I love interacting with you guys, so if you comment, I will always respond. Okay, let's get into the vital few. I'll start off the vital few by just reminding everybody that I have two make-alongs going on. They're both year-long make-alongs. The first one is, well, let's see, Sweater Year 2022, where we're just trying to make a lot of sweaters. And any sweater counts. It can be out of any yarn. You can knit it, you can crochet it. It can be for an adult, a baby, a dog, a child, anyone. I just have a personal goal this year of making as many sweaters as I can. And it seemed like a couple other people wanted to do that too, so we're doing a make-along. There is a thread on Ravelry and a hashtag, which is Sweater Year 2022, so you can enter both places. So if you finish a sweater, please enter it into our make-along. The other one is Shop Your Stash 2022, and that one is pretty easy. Anything that you make with your stash that was in your stash prior to January 1st, 2022 is eligible. At least 75% of your project has to be stash yarn. It is open to any other craft that you can make fit. And yeah, more information on both of them are below. My Ravelry group is listed below. I believe it's called Novel Knits Podcast Group. And yeah, join in, and you can double dip in my make-along. So if you make a sweater out of stash, you can enter it in both, and you can double dip in any other make-along going on right now. I know Knits and Pieces is doing Smash That Stash for I think another month, and I think Michael from Piece for a Piece is doing a sweater make-along. Little Red Mitten is Hold Me Double, I think, for another week. So there's a lot of knit-alongs going on right now, or make-alongs that you can double dip in. So anything that you want to double dip in is totally fine with me. Okay, so vital few. Last weekend was Easter weekend, and it was really, really busy. We saw a ton of family, which was really nice, but also a little overwhelming. Both of my kids had sleepovers. Everybody was pretty tired. I don't know, it was kind of one of those, I don't know, it was great. I mean, don't get me wrong, I loved every minute of it. Drank a lot, I ate a lot of candy, too much, some would say. I think I finally got everything out of the house that I want to eat. Every year my mother-in-law gives us 4 Buddy Squirrel whipped cream eggs, and they're like big. They're not little, they're like, so they give us 4, one for each member of our family. My husband doesn't like sweets, and the kids get Easter baskets with candy, so I ate all 4 of them. I love chocolate, I love candy. It's like my Achilles heel. I love it. So I'm done eating all the deliciousness, because the only way I get it out of my house when I love it is in my belly. So that's done now, which is good. So I should stop feeling so bloated soon. But yeah, Easter candy is the one holiday that I love all the candy. Like, you've got fairy food, you've got whipped cream eggs, you've got like Cadbury eggs, any kind of egg with chocolate I love. That's really a problem, but I do. It's my favorite candy holiday. I don't care for any of the other food, but the candy is my favorite. But yeah, so that's over, done with. And then the kids were off school on Monday, and then on Tuesday my son went to school, but then that night he got really sick. He threw up, and he is a kid that never gets sick, so we didn't know what was going on. So we kept him home from school on Wednesday, and then he was fine. So I don't know if he just had a quick bug or if something he ate just disagreed with him. I'm not sure, but he's okay now, and we're happy for that. But yeah, we had snow on Monday morning, which caused all of our baseball for the week to be canceled. And so yeah, we just had like a really, really quiet week, which should have been good, but I was in a really bad mood for some reason. So I'm finally like on the other end of that, and yeah, we're all good. We're happy. So yeah, it's been pretty boring, which is a good thing, I guess, because next week I think we have baseball 3 nights a week. It's a lot. Yeah, so that's it for Vital Few today. Pretty easy, pretty quick. Yay. Let's get into finished objects, which I have 3. And if you follow me on Instagram, you've probably already seen this. But I will start with, well, I guess I'll start with the one I'm wearing. This is the Love Note. I'd finished the 2 sweaters that I was working on previously, and I thought, well, let's challenge myself and see if I can get this done for Easter. I did not get it done for Easter, but I finished it like on Monday, so that was really good. So here it is. I'm really, really happy with this. I'll stand up and show you really quickly. It's got this beautiful lace, and it fits me really nice. It's got a ton of ease, which I like. I modified it to short sleeves. The yarn I used is Sweet Skein of Mine in her BFL High Twist yarn, and then I held it with a strand of Mohair, and they're both in the blush color. The only modification I made was the sleeves. I did short sleeves, but I really love this. I didn't know if I was going to. Now I think I'm too close. I didn't know if I was going to love it. I had done the provisional cast on, and then I did the lace, and I did a little bit more, and I stopped. And I started this in November for the Love Note Love knit along, hosted by Professor Pearl. I was really unsure about the color. I didn't know if it would wash me out. I didn't know if I would like it. I always say I'm not really a pink person, but this is so pretty, and it's so soft, and the lace is gorgeous. I'm really, really happy with it. So then after I finished the last 2 sweaters and I was getting ready to cast on more sweaters, I just thought I should clear off my needles. I'm sort of in this weird wanting to cast on and wanting to clear off needles all at once kind of mode. So I decided to just clear this one off the needles, and I'm so happy I did. It is so pretty, and I feel like this will be a really nice transition spring piece, because it's like really weird weather here this year. Like, it's gonna be 70, 76 tomorrow, but we had snow on the ground on Monday, and it was like 20. So I don't know. And I don't know, I thought this would work for Mother's Day, because I'm a mom and I have a mom, and I thought this would be pretty to wear. So I think I'll still get some use out of this, and then for sure it'll work in the fall and the winter as well, because I can just put a long sleeve t-shirt underneath it. There's plenty of room in the sleeves. It's really, really nice. So I just love it. And I've already wound up some DK weight yarn to make a long sleeve version. And I don't know if I'm gonna do the lace in the long sleeve version or not. I think I will. But I chose some like tweedy yarn, so it'll be a really different look, and I think it'll be really cool. So I love this sweater. I understand the hype now. If you haven't, I would suggest giving the Love Note a try. It is, when it was done and blocked, I was just like, holy cow, this is really great. So I did do the high-low, the short rows on the back to make the bottom back go down just a little bit lower, but you can't really tell when I'm wearing it. You can really only tell when it's folded or when there's not a body inside of it. So I don't know, I'm super happy with this. It's great, I love it. I think that's all I have to say. So I'm very happy with it. Okay, that's gonna be a theme, and maybe we should make it a drinking game. How many times does Denal say, I'm so happy with this? I'll try to say something different, but I have a feeling that's what I'll end up saying a lot. So next I finished my Stratified. Actually, this was the first sweater that I finished. This is by Tif Neilan. You guys, I love it. It blocked out so nice. I made this out of the Corrrie worsted, and it is just like, look at how great that is. I love it. While you're doing this, there's definitely some texture going on. That's the thing about Tif's patterns, is they're never plain. There's like some texture and just a few little things going on to keep the knit interesting. I can't say enough good things about the pattern and the yarn. The colors that I used, I got from Aimee in a kit. So this was Aimee's kit. Aimee is the owner of Aimee, and this is her line of yarn. And I wasn't sure after I got it if I loved these colors, and I should just shut up and just trust the pattern and the designers from now on, because it is so good. It is so pretty, and I'm so in love. I wore it yesterday and took the dog for a walk, and the lightness of this yarn is fantastic. It's not scratchy, it's lovely. I will say the one thing about the Lavender Corrrie is there are a lot of like dark sheep hairs on it. I don't know if you'll be able to see. So it sheds a lot when you're working with it, and it does shed a little bit still. Maybe after a few more washes it won't shed as much, but I like it a lot. It's really good. So I don't know. This is another one. It was a great knit. The sleeves were fun with the changing color. It was a lot of ends to weave in, but I don't know. I just kind of sat down with all 3 sweaters when they were done one night, and I wove in the ends of all of the sweaters, and it probably took like an hour and a half. It's not fun. It's not the best part of knitting, but it wasn't too bad either. So I love this. I am so excited to have it. I can't believe how light it is. I think I mentioned when I was working on it that I was really nervous about how expensive the wool was if I didn't love it. And the good news is it's well worth it. I think this sweater is going to last a long time. The fit of it on me is exactly what I wanted. It's a little sweatshirty. It's perfect. I did post some pictures on Ravelry if you want to see me wearing it, but it's great. I like it a lot. It's perfect. That was weird, sorry. Okay, and then my last finished object is the Cozy Classic Raglan. Let's try that again. The Cozy Classic Raglan by Jessie Maed Designs. Ooh. There we go. And this is awesome. I'm really happy with this too. The last time I talked about it, I was a little nervous that it was going to be a little tight. After blocking, it definitely grew. So I'm really happy now that I didn't go up a needle size. It is so pretty. This raglan detail, it doesn't look like much. It might look very simple, but it is just so elegant. It gives this such a nice look. I really love it. So the yarn I used for this one is a Lavender Lune Glitter yarn, which I got on a discount because, as Sam of Lavender Lune said, she killed the sparkle. So it barely sparkles, which is okay. And I held it with Mohair, which toned down the sparkle even more. So you really don't see any sparkle. I mean, you kind of do, but you have to, I don't think it jumps out at you at all. So this is gorgeous. I do have a definite place where you can see where I switched skeins, and it's much darker. The second skein and the third skein were both much darker than the first. So even on the sleeves, I don't think the sleeves are that bad though. This one is a little bit worse. But I like it. It is what it is. And this is just gonna be a casual for me sweater. I like it. It's a little bit more fitted than the Stratified. I will take a picture of myself wearing it and I'll put it on Instagram eventually. I'm wearing my sweaters one at a time right now. So tomorrow I'll probably put this on and take a picture wearing it. I'm trying to be better about taking pictures with my face and not just yarn. I don't know. Does anybody else have that struggle where you just, I don't think about taking pictures of myself, but then I think people want to see what the sweater looks like on me, probably, not just on a mannequin, because she's perfectly proportioned. And also, I don't know, I think sometimes as you get older, you take yourself out of the picture sometimes, and I'm trying to purposely put myself back in the picture so that my kids look back, have pictures of me in their life, and it's not just me taking pictures of them all the time. So I still struggle with it. I don't always like how I look in pictures. I think that's normal, but it's something I'm working on. So I will have a picture of me wearing this one in the next couple of weeks on Instagram if you're interested. And I've also been adding them to my project pages in Ravelry. So if you're interested, look in both of those places. So that's it for my finished objects. And next we will move into works in progress. And if I feel like I need to take a break, I may, but I'm gonna try to power through. Okay, while I will say, on the Cozy Classic Raglan, I got stuck on Sleeve Island. These sleeves were not my favorite. And I don't normally get stuck on Sleeve Island, but I did with this sweater a little bit. I think what happened is I was doing 4 sleeves. So I'm gonna work really hard to not have that happen again when I'm working on sweaters, because that makes, I don't know, it makes for an unhappy knitter, I think. 4 sleeves is too many. So this one, I got stuck on Sleeve Island. So while I was stuck on Sleeve Island, I pulled out a very old WIP because, as I've said, I was kind of also in the clear off my needles phase. So I pulled out the Choose Love shawl by Patty of the Forest City Knit Girls. Let me see if I can find a picture of it. Oh, this is not a pretty... This pattern is in rough shape. So this is it. It is a DK weight pattern. And I am holding, the yarn I'm using is, I'm using 2 skeins of Barnyard Knits, one in Graffiti and one in Blizzard, and then a skein of Vivid Yarn Studio, DK, Merino DK, and Storm, which I haven't added in yet. So here's where I'm at. And I'm at that part in every shawl where the rows are getting long and it's not as fun to work on. I love shawls, but I really dislike when you have hundreds of stitches on the needles, but I'm going to persevere because I like this. So this is the top. So I started with Blizzard, which is just a really pretty gray speckle. And then has some eyelet rows and some interesting things. And then you change. And now I'm in Graffiti, which is a really fun color. So I think I have a little bit more, 8 to 10 more rows in Graffiti, and then I'll start going into Storm. So here's Blizzard, here's Graffiti, and then my last one is not in a very pretty cake. Oof, just kind of, this is Storm. It's a pretty gray. And it looks like there's pops of very, very subtle colors in there, possibly. Well, I felt like I saw it before, but maybe my eyes were deceiving me. So I think this is going to be really pretty. I don't know if this is going to be for me or if it's going to be something that I give away. I'm not sure, but I'm really, really enjoying working on it. So Barnyard Knits, and then this is her DK, which is 100% Superwash Merino, 231 yards for 100 grams. So it's been really nice to pick this up again. I don't think I have any DK weight shawls. So I'll be really interested once this is finished to kind of see what I think about it. I did make a DK weight shawl in the past, but it ended up being way too small. and I gave it to my mom, and she thinks it's too small too. And so I don't know what I'm going to do with that. I might take it back and either reuse the yarn or I don't know. But it's not being used, so I'm not sure what I'm going to do with that. So yeah, that's a great, this has been a lot of fun. The rows are getting long. The rows are over 200 stitches, which isn't a ton. It's just, I don't like purling. So when you have to purl back all those stitches, that's when it gets long for me. This is in Bag by Mrs. Brown's Bags. I think this is a crochet stitch one, but I really like the colors on this one. It's got a green zipper. It's really cool. Okay, and then next one, this is a new cast on. This is in, I've showed this bag before, but this is by Craft House Magic. Ellie, I love this bag. So I thought this bag was very appropriate for the April shower socks that I've started. And I think I put a picture of these on Instagram. This is a pattern that came out recently by Twin Stitches Designs, which is Julianne. She's a Canadian designer. And I just think these are amazing. Oh, sorry. Rain clouds and then the rain. So there was a beautiful kit by Moonglow Fiber Co., which Julianne used to make her socks. And I thought about purchasing that. And then I thought, I bet I can do it with scraps. But you might be able to tell my fourth color is so similar to the main color. It didn't quite work, but I'm okay with it. I'm going with the flow, and it's great. So the yarn that I'm using is, I love this color. This is from Lolo Did It. And I was part of her Quotable Dumbledore Club for a while. And this is like, it's just so delicate. I really love it. I don't have a name for this one, but this was from the Quotable Dumbledore Club. I don't even have a month. Wait, I might. Hold on. Okay, July 2020. And it says, I was merely reading the Muggle magazines. I do love knitting patterns. I don't think that's the name of the skein, but that's what was on it. Oh, wait. Yes, okay. And then for the dark blue, I'm using from the same club, this yarn called Bravery, which is just such a pretty blue. This will go into something else after these socks because I'm using so little of it. But I wanted to use these yarns. And then for the storm clouds, I pulled out, I used this in one of my Stephen West shawls. I don't even remember which one. Either the shawlography or the slip extravaganza. I feel like maybe the shawlography. I don't remember, but one of those Stephen West shawls. And then I don't know where this came from, but this was a mini I had. And then I know this is a Leading Men Fiber Arts mini. I don't know the color. And then this is another Leading Men Fiber Arts mini. And then I thought there was going to be, I don't know why I thought it would be enough of a contrast, but for such a beautiful color, these two dyers were pretty similar. So it's fine. It's fine. I still love it. And I think there's enough contrast in the other colors that it's good. So I just did the Fish Lips Kiss Heel recently. And I was hoping to finish these in April, but it's the 22nd. And I have another pair of socks that I need to finish before these. So they probably will not be finished this month, but hopefully by next month. I am trying to get a balance between casting on and binding off. So yeah, it was a fun little cast on and I really enjoyed the color work. There's some striping on the toe coming up, so I will use the minis some more, which will be really nice. Okay. Next I have, okay, I did start, so my plan for my next sweaters and kind of for the rest of the year is to always have at least 2 going that I'm working pretty hard on, or not hard, but more focused with, like that I'm 2 that I'm focused on, and I want them to be different weights and different styles. So right now I chose a bulky and a t-shirt as kind of my styles. And I think because part of the reason I want to make sweaters is I also need to stash down a little bit with my sweater yarn. So I feel like getting some bulky yarn out of my stash will be really nice. And so I started The Reluctant Homeschooler by Caitlin Hunter. And let me see if there's a picture. I know there is. This came out during the pandemic when we were all reluctant homeschooling our children. It just looks like a really cozy, bulky cardigan. So I'm making the 2nd size, but I'm wondering if I might go up to the 3rd size because I'm using Aran weight yarn instead of bulky yarn. But I did get on gauge with my 2 pockets. My 2 pockets were my gauge swatches. But you can see there's a lot of, this is not going to be, there's a lot of space in my stitches. So I'm on gauge, but it's not a very thick fabric, but I don't think it bothers me. I think I'm okay. So I cast on the 1st sleeve. I expected this to fly. I thought I was going to be a lot further. So you start at the cuff and you do some increases. I think I did 4 increases. And even if I go up a size, you don't keep increasing. So I'm going to stick with the stitch count for the sleeves. And then, I mean, there's plenty of room. So I think that's going to be fine. So I have a couple more inches to go. And then I'll bind off this sleeve, and then I will do the other sleeve. And then you start the body, then you join the sleeves, and I think you add on your button band, I believe. It's been a long time since I've done this. Actually, I don't think I've ever done a cardigan construction like this. So I'm liking this Knit Picks. It is Knit Picks City Tweed Aran in Obsidian. And it's just super tweedy and nice and super soft. I saved this one from a destash. I was going to destash it, and then I decided, you know what, let's knit with it. I have some other yarn right now on a destash that I'm really thinking of rescuing to make something else with. So we'll see. I might rescue another one. So it's definitely putting my Make 9 plans on the back burner because I keep coming up with, I'm kind of letting yarn decide which projects I start rather than anything else. So I don't know if I love it, but I don't have a problem with it either. I mean, my main goal is just to knit sweaters. So if I don't hit the ones I put on my Make 9, that's okay. Although the Stratified was on my Make 9. I've made 2 projects off my Make 9 so far this year. But I did move this one to my I Heart You bag because there's a lot of bulky skeins of yarn in there. And this is just such an awesome bag. So it's so big. I hope that Laura will put some more extra large bags in her shop because this is really good for a sweater, a bulky sweater. Okay. Let's keep moving along here. So next I have, so this one was not expected to be cast on. It kind of leapfrogged over my Miserina because when I finished my love note, I had my love note in this bag, but another Mrs. Brown's bag. And I didn't realize that I just put the love note on top of the yarn and needles and pattern for the Rocket Tee by Tanis Lavalley. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry, Tanis. So if you are not familiar, this is the Rocket Tee. So like I said, I had everything in here ready to go. So I was like, okay, I guess this is what I'm doing. So what I'm interested in with this, I again bought the yarn from Tanis Fiber Arts. This is their Pure Wash fingering, and the color's Deep Space, and then I have the Mohair. So apparently for this sweater, this is all the yarn I need. So I'm sort of curious how that's gonna go. I mean, it makes sense because this was one full skein of fingering and one full skein of mohair and a little bit more of each, but they were held double. So in theory, this should work because this was the project kit that I bought. So I'm really curious to see if that's gonna work. So I casted it on and I've done the first 10 repeats of the pattern. So you start knitting flat and then eventually I'll bring it together in a V-neck and I'll be knitting in the round. So this is what it's kind of in a weird stage, but this is what it looks like. Oh my gosh. Here we go. So this is where I'm at. And it's really pretty. I mean, I did notice I'm working with a lot of grays and blacks right now, which is okay. I'm gonna need some color soon, but yeah, so you do you do 4 rows of a repeat twice. And that's when you get your raglans. I did decide, I know a lot of people kind of close up the yarn over, so I decided to just go with it. And if I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it to pattern. And then you switch off between the fingering and the mohair. And when it's the same color, I think it's pretty subtle. I don't know if you can even really tell. Maybe a little bit right there. So I think I have some more increases to do. And then I've never done a V-neck before, so I'm kind of excited. I assume it'll just kind of come together like this. And then you just start knitting in the round, but I'm kind of excited to see where the pattern takes me. And I'm enjoying it. So that's the good thing too. Yeah, there you can kind of see the stripes a little bit better there. So yeah, it's great. It's going along great. It's a little slower of a knit right now because of the purling. I didn't realize how much I disliked purling until I really had a lot of projects where I was purling after not doing it for a really long time. I really don't like purling all that much. I'm very, very slow at purling. So I think I'll like this better once I join it in the round and it's just knitting. However, and the stripes make it super easy to stay on pattern because you do 2 repeats of the eight rows. So when you have 4 yarn overs, then you switch colors. So it's really nice in that sense. It's a great pattern. I'm really liking it so far. I did not gauge swatch for this one, so I'm sort of living on the edge. I could measure my gauge at any point and see if I'm close, but sometimes I just like to live on the edge, I guess. I think I'll check my gauge, maybe. I probably should, just to see if I need to go up a size or stop the Raglan increases sooner. It looks good based on my eyes, but you know, I've gotten into trouble doing that in the past. So we'll see. I may check my gauge. I may not. I may keep living on the edge. We'll see. I kind of figure for these t-shirts, like it's okay if they're big with the mohair and stuff, because I'm going to be wearing something underneath it anyway. I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't feel like that, but I don't know. We'll see. Okay, I've got 2 more. I think I'm doing okay on time, especially since my book club is short this week. So this is in my Wanderluck Fibers bag that I got with my last year's Advent. I'm having a really hard time not purchasing an Advent this year, but I haven't used any of last year's, and I got 3 last year. So I think this year I'm just going to use the yarn from last year's Advents and make something, whether it's a sweater or a, hi, Penelope's looking at me like she wants to come up, or a blanket or whatever I feel like. I think though I'm going to use last year's Advent calendar yarn and not purchase another one because I try not to purchase yarn. Okay. Remember when I said I didn't love pink? Here we go. So I have, and I was gonna get a sock blocker. I'm sorry I didn't. These are my Coffee Talk socks by Tracie Millar. I finished the first one, and if it looks really long, it's because it is. I was knitting and knitting and knitting away, and all of a sudden I was like, oh, I have to decrease because I am at the toe. So I followed these almost completely to pattern until I had to like make the toe end a little bit sooner, but I think it looks good. So I wasn't going to do the purl stitches on the toe, but then I decided to. And I just love the texture of these. They're really nice. It's really, again, easy to see where you are in the pattern and kind of count, and it's really nice. So the yarn that I'm using is the Yarn Ink Classic Sock set in Love Song. And I really like it. I think it looks really good for these socks. I'm really happy with the pattern. They're really great. I'll put them on sock blockers once they're both done so that they don't look so crazy. And I did myself a solid, and I already woven the ends for the sock. So when I finish the second one, I don't have to weave in the ends for the first. So that's nice. But yeah, I haven't cast on for the second one yet, but I will. This is just really gorgeous yarn. It's pink with all these specks of colors. And then the 2 minis that came with it are just so pretty. And I went back and forth as to if I was gonna do something different on the second sock, like switch the colors. I don't think I'm that kind of girl. I think I want them to match. So I think I'm going to do the exact same thing for the second sock. And then I'm definitely looking at most of my projects right now too, as to what I'm going to use the scraps for. So for this, I will put a little bit of this in my daughter's Cozy Memories. Depending on how much is left with these, I'll for sure put this in my daughter's and maybe this one in my son's Cozy Memories. I also have on my Make 9 this really cool scarf. I think it's called the Pegathor, where it's a bunch of mitered squares in different colors. And I want to use a lot of leftovers from shawls that I'm currently working on or socks that I'm working on for that project. So that's a project that I'm kind of hoping to be able to start like in the fall and still make it for my Make 9, but it means I have to clear off some needles and finish up some yarn before I can start it, because I just realized that I want it to be a scrappy project, and some of the yarns that I want to put in it are already being used. So that's another reason I want to clear off some needles as well. My dog wants to play. Hang on a second. You want to come say hello? Come here. Come on, come here. Come here. Yes, you can say hello. You can say hello. Come here. Come here. Penelope. Okay, she doesn't want to be on camera. She just wants me to throw her toy. So, hang on a second. Sorry about that. And sorry if you can hear her. All right, my last one. So, my daughter turns 14 on May 1st. So, I have decided that I really need to get these socks done. So for her birthday, she wants to go ice skating. I used to ice skate a lot in my youth. I was a very competitive figure skater, and I coached figure skating for about 8 years after high school. And yeah, so recently I went, and I thought I was going to need to get new blades for my skates, but I took them, my dad and I drove about an hour into Illinois to Rainbow Sports. Sorry about that. To Rainbow Sports, and I was going to pick out new blades, and that was going to be my birthday present from my dad. And the woman there was like, "You've got a lot of life left on these blades." I mean, they had rust all over them, and they looked terrible. And I was like, "Really?" And she spent about a half hour sharpening my skates and got all of the rust off. So now I need to get back on the ice to make sure they work well. So my daughter loves skating. She's got, whoa, come here. Let's not bark. I'm really sorry that you had to hear her bark. Let's not bark, okay? Let's not bark. Goodness. This is Penelope. She's demanding attention right now. Okay. Are we calmed down now? Okay. But yeah, so for her birthday, she wants to choose a few friends and we're gonna go ice skating and she's gonna have a sleepover. But yeah, she sometimes gets mad at me. Like, I purposely did not put her in ice skating lessons because A, I know how expensive it is, and B, I am very competitive and I just didn't want that to be our relationship. But I will take her skating for her 14th birthday with her friends. So we're gonna do that. But anyway, I've decided that I really want to finish her socks for her birthday. So I am making her the Wonderland socks by Tabby Gandy, who she used to have a podcast with her sister, Rachel, called the Hey Sister podcast, and they had a yarn dyeing business, and I don't see much of them online anymore, but it's a really gorgeous sock. So you start it from the toe up. Thank you. And it's got this great texture, and this is where I was last time. So I finished the first sock and I bound off. I did the super stretchy bind off, and I don't think it looks great. I'm not redoing it because I'm lazy, and I think it'll look fine stretched on her leg. I do have to add in a heel. I didn't measure anything, so I hope I'm good. But I think this will be really nice. It's the yarn I'm using is Midnight Cravings Lush 4-ply Fingering in Parasol, which is just a gorgeous color. And so I just recently cast on the second sock. So I think I could finish these in a week if I really try. It's a fun pattern. And I showed this last time, but it looks funny because how the pattern kind of pulls in. But once you put your foot in, it looks so nice. So it's great. I really, really have liked this pattern. I don't think I'll ever knit it again. I do want to figure out something different though for the bind off. So if any of you have any tried and true methods for binding off toe up socks that look neater than this, I'd be really interested. So that should be done soon. Okay, that is it for the works in progress. That's it for the knitting. So if that's all you're here for, that's fine. I don't blame you. That went longer than I thought. I thought I was making really great time, and then I'm not sure what happened. Okay, so for book club, I finished Caught by Harlan Coben. I think I give it about 3 stars. In terms of just pure storyline mystery, it was really, there was mystery, there were twists, there were turns, there was another twist, another turn. It was a good mystery. The main character, for being good, I think she was a journalist, she seemed really dense. I don't think he did female characters justice in this book. I think that he did not write his women well, but I don't know. I just felt like she would get a piece of information and not be able to put it together with a previous piece of information. Like, every new piece of information was like, oh, well, and then she would just get in the car and drive somewhere, which is okay, but I mean, we are living in, I mean, I guess I don't know when the book was written, but if it was written in the last 10 years, there's the internet. You don't always have to get in a car and drive. I don't know, it had some things about it that were my favorite, but in terms of just being a mystery, I did really, it held my interest, and I wanted to see where it went. So the beginning of it was basically like being on the receiving end of that show, How to Catch a Predator, which was awful. Like, I hated that feeling. There were some uncomfortable things in it, but generally it was a pretty well written and not well, I take back. It was a pretty good mystery, or like, yeah. Like I said last time, I think sometimes when you're a New York Times bestselling author, sometimes you're just churning out books, and I don't think this was the best Harlan Coben book out there. I will definitely try some other ones because I know that in general, I like the last book I read of his, and I like the shows on Netflix, even the ones that are dubbed. So I think I think this was just kind of one that missed the mark a little bit. And it's okay. When you've got 30 books, they're not all gonna be the best. Okay, now I am reading The House of Sky and Breath by Sarah J. Maas on my Audible, and you're catching me on a bad day with this one. It is trashy. I was walking Penelope yesterday and I had my AirPods in and I was like, oh my gosh. I don't know, like her books have been getting more like they've left the fantasy world and moved into 50 Shades of Grey. I don't know. I can take a little bit of it, especially if it goes well with the storyline, like A Court of Thorn and Roses. I really didn't mind it, but it was too much for me. I'm still reading it because I want to get to the end of it, but I'm going to tell you right now, I would not recommend this book. And also, like, there was like this action scene where I was like, what am I reading? Like, is Thor here? Like, visually, I could see what she was writing and I just didn't like it. It was sort of like, I like the idea of Wonder Woman. I don't like watching Wonder Woman movies. And that was sort of like, I get what you're doing, but I don't like it. And this is just not the series for me with her books. But I want to get to the end to see if it's worth it. I think I'm finally in the single digits of hours. I think I have about 9 more hours to go. I have been so not enjoying this book that I found a new podcast called Red Handed. It's a true crime podcast by these 2 British women. And I like 90% of what they do. I think sometimes when they're doing American cases, they bungle things a little bit, but I like their voices. I like what they're doing. And so I went down their catalog pretty far instead of listening to the book. So it's just not my favorite. I don't know. Maybe at 40, how old am I? Maybe at 42, that's just not my thing anymore. I don't know, but I don't like it. So anyway, I'll let you know. It will be done because I'm going to push through it in the next week. I would like to finish it because I have other books I want to read, and this is just bottlenecking me a little bit. My before bed book right now is People We Meet on Vacation by Emily Henry, and I'm enjoying this. It's very light. I wanted something very light after Caught, and this is fitting the bill. I'm growing concerned that this is going to be hitting a little close to home for when I was in college at some point, but it's not bad. The main premise is there are 2 friends, Poppy and what's his name? Alex. And they met in college, and every summer they go on a summer trip, and she works for a travel agency. So normally they would be on like the travel agency's dime, but then something happened 2 years ago and they haven't spoken in 2 years. And she talks him into coming on the trip again, and they're going someplace, but her company won't pay for her to go. So she's paying for everything out of pocket, and things are going wrong. Like there's no air conditioning in their hot hotel room. Things are just not going great, and they're sort of starting to have like some awkwardness because they're getting along well, but then something will come up and they realize they haven't talked in 2 years, and we don't know, the readers don't know yet why they haven't been speaking. So it's okay. I'm along for the ride. I'm along for the ride, and it's light and it's cute. I mean, she's like, I imagine her being this like tiny little, because she's described as being, I think, very, very short and very blonde. So I imagine like exactly what she looks like, and she's cute, and I don't know. So I'm enjoying it. This is how far I am. And I am always using my favorite bookmark from my friend Julie. Yeah, I'm on chapter 15. So I don't know, hopefully I only read this before bed, so it kind of depends on what kind of night I've had. But hopefully I'll finish this soon. Excuse me, I think I got some mohair in my throat. So that's all I have. I was talking to my sister this morning, and I think my next Audible book is going to be either Station 11 which I watched that series on HBO and I loved it. I thought it was amazing. I've read mixed things about the book, so I really decided I had to read the book and see for myself what I thought. Or else The Awakening by Nora Roberts, which I think I heard Ray of Needles at the Ready talking about, and he and I seem to have some similar reading paths, choices, interests. So I thought I might give that a try. I don't think I've ever read anything by Nora Roberts. So those are for sure. One of those two will be my next Audible book. And I think for my next book, I think I'm gonna maybe do a Kristen Hanna Magic Hour. I'm looking at it there and trying to read the words. Or else the Bookwoman of Troublesome Creek. So if any of you have read either of those and have any thoughts or feelings, let me know. I've read Kristen Hanna before and I generally like her style. I do think she like finishes her books a little too quickly and like kind of leaves you hanging. And I don't know the author of the other book and I can't read it from here, but those are my thoughts. So yeah, if you've read either of those or any of the Audible books that I'm gonna pick up, let me know what you think. And yeah, I think maybe I'm kind of busy with the whole year-long make-alongs right now, but maybe next year we could do something with a book club where we actually read a book together if anybody would be interested. And maybe, I don't know, that could be fun. Maybe we could knit along with it. I don't know. I think that the Needles at the Ready, no, We Share Needles girls are going to be doing like a books and hats make-along coming up soon. So I think I'll definitely join in that and see how that goes. And then maybe that could be something for next year. We'll see. Anyway, thanks again for joining me today. I love chatting about what I'm knitting and reading with you guys. And I'm so happy that you're here all the time. So I'll see you next time. Bye.